All right, we are back with some Grimdark Future. I'm back with my friend. We played some 5,000 points last time, but we enjoyed that so much. We figure, hey, let's bump this up to 6,000 points. So it's his human defense force against my custom version of High Elf fleets, which I'm calling Craft Ship High Elves. So we'll go into that in a little bit. All right. So, but for some of the details, 6,000 points, we actually only rolled three objectives. So, we're going to be fighting over, like I said, very few objectives. That makes these games very interesting to sort of not have a lot of objectives. So I'm playtesting my own version of High Elf fleets. There's a lot. I'm trying to work on some competitive versions of some armies. So High Elf fleets is one of the things that I'm working on. One of the things that I want to try and do is make high elf fleets have a little more, give them some more options. And also, I want to play a version of high elf fleets that doesn't sort of have rend in mass. I think that, especially against when I played against a human defense force, he was just sort of getting a little frustrated that like my weapons could sort of kill everything. So I'll go into that in just a little bit. But the other thing we're trying to do here is we found that, and this is playing against him who comes from 40k, that command points they're actually a very good part of the game that I think can also balance out the game. So we're making a very simple command point structure. It's 500. It's basically one command point per 500 points plus a d6. So one command point gets you +1 to a single dice roll. Two command points let you reroll all the dice in a single dice roll, and then three command points let you pass a failed morale check. So we like this. It sort of balances out those bad rolls. And also the big thing that we like about this command point structure is it also sort of balances out morale checks. Morale in the game does feel, and he comes from 40k about battle shock. He feels, and I have to agree with him, that morale in the game feels very overpowered, if I will, sort of failing morale tests. So having a way to sort of mitigate those morale checks is something that we are enjoying. But it's also, again, both my army and this, we're playtesting this. So just keep that in mind. So this is my army. Again, you're going to notice that one of the things you're going to see is that I no longer have rending in the entire army on the weapons. So I have some energy swords, but the pistols and rifles, they now have flurry. Flurry is just basically an off version of taser, which on a 6, I get an extra attack. So whenever these weapons shoot, every time I roll a 6, I get one extra attack, basically. The other thing is my scorpions. I've been trying to give high elf fleets a lot more graduated upgrades. So I've got one of the upgrades I have with scorpions is poison on them, and then I've also got this blade master, which is predator and melee. I'm not only doing this for high elf fleets, but I'm working on a dark elf raiders as well. So I've got this new blade master, which is just predator and melee, sort of give high elf fleets a little more hitting power, but also sort of not making them crazy. So I've got two Scorpion squads with the Poison and Melee and the Blade Master, two Banshee squads. I've now given them a Dodge upgrade. So they have the Fear upgrade, but they also have a Dodge as well. So I've gotten them with Dodge, and I've given them also the Blade Master. Three Dire Avenger squads. You can see here, Dire Avengers now, I feel, are a lot more balanced, where you're not just able to shoot everything. They're a lot more sort of solid anti-infantry. Double dire swords on both of them, and I also have regen on the Dire Avengers, 3 squads of them. I've got the Shining Lance, which is basically a separate version. I've split jet bikes and effectively Shining Lances into 2 separate ones. So here I've got the Blade Master on them. I've got them with protected, and I've got them with their charging lances that I've tweaked slightly. I've also got some bikes guys on them as well. You can go look at the list. I'll post the custom army in the description. Just keep in mind it is a work in progress. So just so you know, I'd love to get feedback on the army, but it is, like I said, a work in progress. I've got some dragons. I've got some storm guardians. One of the things I did in this one is sort of harkening back to more of a traditional role. They've got now a seer lieutenant, which is basically a warlock. The warlock basically comes with caster 1, an extra energy sword, and I also have the sergeant upgrade on that warlock, sort of to make him a little better in hand to hand. So I've got 2 storm guardians. One of them has the furious. So in this update, I'm actually trying to give A lot of the high elf fleets, I feel their options are very limited. So I've given them a scout as an option, but I've also given Furious and Fearless. So I have one squad rocking Fearless, rocking Furious, excuse me, and the other one rocking Scout. One is armed with Flamers, that's this squad, and one of them is just hand-to-hand weapons here. So just keep that in mind. And then I've got some Reapers. All of them are armed with the shot missiles. I've got two Elven Nobles. They got both of them have shield wall. One of them has at the double, which I've added, so a little more maneuverability in the army. One of them's on a jet bike. One of them is a scorpion suit. I've got an Avatar of War. The other thing I'm trying to do in this sort of reworking is I feel that really expensive monsters and really expensive tanks I feel need a lot more presence on the battlefield. So I have this Avatar of War that I've added some upgrade options. So one of the upgrade options I have is the Fiery Protection and the Firestorm. So my thought is that if you're going to spend so much points on these really powerful monsters, I feel they sort of need to do more. So he's actually he's able to give +1 defense on 2 squads. He's also got the Firestorm, so he's able to sort of 18 inches kind of blast two squads. 2 heavy jet bikes. You'll notice here another tweak I'm trying to do is add more gradation in vehicles. So these guys are now down to def 3. But everything else is the same. Again, they don't have their rending weapons. And I've got a Guardian Elite, which is going to be serving as basically a caster 3. He's going to be running alone. So for my human defense force, this, he's been tweaking the army, and this version of the army is really nasty. He's got some company leaders. Just so you know, these battle drills, this was a mistake on his part. He meant to put at the double. So he's got 2 guys. Whenever you see these 2 guys with battle drills, they actually have at the double. All of these company leaders, he's got basically these several, I think it's 4 or 5 of these 20-man infantry squads. These things are so good. I mean, and I love that he's just armed them. He's got them with drum rifles. He's got them with flamers. He's got some with auto cannons as well. So these 20-man squads are just really tough. Just really nasty units. Some of these infantry squads he's got with medical training, so even regen on top of it. And yeah, these guys are just terrific. They're really beefy. He's got them with the company leaders. He's got several company leaders with the movement. He's also got the other company leaders with take aim. So he's got 2 other company leaders in veteran squads with the take aim ability. And he's got those with stealth as well. Here's one of his veteran squads that he's got a mortar. So he's got some indirect, but not like, I love this army where he's not depending so much on indirect. So he's got indirect, he's got a mortar and some drum pistol on his veteran squads. He's got another veteran squad, again, with another mortar. He's got a light APC with some machine guns, so pretty good there. He's got a support vehicle, so this is, he does have some indirect. He's got this artillery cannon here with a camo netting, and entrench. So this thing is terrific. 2 battle tanks. He's got also double time. So in the battle, just so you know, in the battle report, there's a lot of stuff going on. Just so you know, he's got a lot of movement shenanigans with all these double times. He's got just 1 light walker with scout, and he's got them with a flamer. He's got a heavy battle tank, and again, one of the things, he does have some deadly, but he's also just, a lot of his tanks now, he's going more for just, which I think is what you should do with guard, with human defense. He's going for mass firepower. So here, he's not doing too many battle cannons. He's just got mass shoot, just volume fire, and he's got a super heavy. Again, no blast. He's got this Lord Cannon. This thing is so nasty. Just 18 shots with lock on here. So all in all, just a really good human defense force army. That's just a picture of his army. Yeah, it's a lot of bodies he's running here. And he's got his commanders here. These are some of his tanks. So again, the orange tank, these 2 are heavy. His battle tanks. He's got his heavy tank here with the larger sponson. This is his super heavy, obviously. His Chimera, so he's got an unpainted Chimera. This is his transport. And then he's got the orange Chimera. That is actually his artillery, his support vehicle. And he doesn't have the plane, by the way. And just keep in mind, we're allowing some proxies. We really wanted to just play 6,000, so it's okay that he wants the proxy. So for my army, yeah, this is just my high elf army. I've got the Avatar in this game. My 3 units of Avengers. I've got my 2 units of Banshees and my 2 units of Scorpions. I've got the Reapers behind them with the Dragons and the Warp Spiders. So one of the things I like about high elf fleets without sort of mass rend is it sort of forces you to have to bring anti-armor. So normally I wouldn't even bring these dragons, but sort of not having that rending to kill vehicles too, I sort of need some more anti-armor. So the Reapers and the Dragons are sort of there to kind of give me some anti-armor that I need. The 6-man unit of jet bikes, and there's my 2 heavy jet bikes behind them. And then finally, I've got the Guardian Squad, and again, I'd like the Seer Lieutenant. So I've got the 2 Seer Lieutenants in there as well. I do like this upgrade with the Guardians, giving them that Seer Lieutenant. And that's just the Avatar of War. I've got my caster, and then I've got the Scorpion. He's one of my Elven Nobles, and then I've got the jet bike Elven Noble. So yeah, let's go look at the setup. So one of the things that, and I love playing at this point level, you really just get the majesty of the battlefield. It feels like a battle where and it's so funny when we were playing this game, we had people constantly gathering around. Like, I would just encourage you guys, even if you have to proxy, play bigger point levels. It's a whole different game. It brings a lot of other strategic elements to the game. I would just really encourage you guys, even if you have to heavily proxy, play OPR at higher point levels. The game runs really smooth. But here, so the objectives came out pretty balanced. Basically, both of us have one objective outside of our deployment zones. This is mine. And you can see this is him setting up his units. And then on the right flank here, so on the left, the far left, you're going to see this orange objective. This is the one objective in the center. On the top right, where he has his super heavy, that's where his other, you don't see it, but that's where his other objective is. So basically, all of this battle is going to hinge around fighting on that center objective here. You can see here, both of us have set up pretty heavily on this flank. I have got my Avatar, I've got my 2 scouting units and my jet bikes in the building. He's got his super heavy behind that building. As you're going to see here, yeah, so that's just that center objective, but you can see my line going here. On the bottom, you can see behind this building to be protected. I've got my Reapers, I've got my Banshees, and there's also my Farseer in that building, so keep them protected. This is just another picture of the battlefield. On his side, you can see his objective is in that kind of crater where that heavy walker is. It's right in front of that crater. So here you can just see, yeah, he's just, I'm not getting to this objective in this building. He's just got so much firepower and just meat there with his tanks. You can see here in the center, he's got his bunker. There is that orange transport Chimera. That's his artillery vehicle. So just really tucked in safe right there. And yeah, this is just him. I tell you, these 20-man squads of guard are so good, especially if you give them medical training. Just so good. And that's just another picture here where I've got my 2 forward Scorpions. And yeah, so there you go. Just another picture. Oh, the battle. It was so fun to play this battle. Like I said, OPR plays so well at, 6,000 points. All right, so turn 1, he does get to go first. And yeah, first thing he does, he moves up his super heavy and he just takes out 9 out of the 10 of my Scorpions. So that's rough. This super heavy, oh, it's so good. Especially, it doesn't have blast. It's just, he's got that twin Lord cannon on there just to mow down. That's 18 shots with lock on. So he's just mowing down my Scorpions. 1 is left. At this point, I send in my Scorpions to this 20-man squad. And this goes to show you, this squad has regen. So I rolled pretty good, but then again, it's just 20 men, and I killed some. He killed, I think, 2 back on me. But just these 20-man squads are a lot better. And I like that, by the way. I like the new rules where they've sort of reduced some of the glass cannony side of it. So these Scorpions can't just wipe out a 20-man squad. So I thought that's really cool. But I do some damage there. In the corner, so he's got his one of his veteran squads. He actually has a field radio, and he gives his heavy tank in the center on the right, gives that +1 to hit. He actually shoots his mortar, but he does miss. So at this point, my Storm Guardians, they move in this objective. These are the Flamer squad with Scout. So I have this Warlock, which I like the Warlock addition to these Storm Guardians. I'm able actually to cast the -1 to shoot on. There's a squad on the in this bunker here, the 20-man squad, that I give them -1 to shoot. And then they, with their flamers and their shots, they shoot. I think they take out like 10 or 11 of these guys here. So really, we're just, man, this battle is starting off with just massive casualties. So yeah, I take out like 10 of these guys here. At this point, one of his, I think it's his orange battle tank, he at the doubles this infantry squad up forward, and then it moves up, and it actually shoots into my Storm Guardians, kills 8 of them, and it actually wavers this unit. So yeah, I mean, he's got so much firepower now. At this point, I have my Avengers. They move up and they shoot at that infantry squad. They actually kill a lot of them. There's still the leader, and there's 2 guys, and he passes his morale. So, the squad in the back. So this is his in this gray transport here. The guy with the missile launcher. That's his other veteran squad. He actually, with the field radio, gives the artillery support +1 to hit, and then it stays still. So he's doing a great job of keeping his company leaders with take aim back and protected. This is noted, so you can see here we're using these +1 to hit tokens. So both of these big heavy tanks have +1 to hit. My Farseer, seeing that coming in, he rushes up and he spends the rest of his tokens to give these 2 Dire Avenger squads +1 defense. And that's just marked with this little blue icon here. So both of these Avengers have +1 defense. The big tank, so this is his heavy tank, it moves up and it actually shoots at my heavy jet bike, but he rolls, he misses with that deadly weapon. And he shoots at my heavy jet bike, and he only takes him down. So a bit of a bad roll on his part that my heavy jet bike survives with 2 wounds left. So lucky for me, jet bike passes his morale too. So I think he also shoots into my scorpions. So I think the reason the jet bike survived is he did split his fire. And I don't blame him. He was hoping to get that deadly hit on my jet bike. But he does kill some scorpions too. And then so at this point, this heavily wounded jet bike, I want to get some value out of him. So I move up and I shoot that purple squad that the scorpions had killed. I kill some more of them. I take them pretty low, but again, they still have their autocannons. One of these great advantage of these 20-man squads is you can kind of save those autocannons for last. They're really tough. The indirect tank at this point, that's in the far back. He shoots into my Storm Guardians here with Furious, kills 5 of them, but they pass their morale. My heavy jet bike, I know he's targeting them, so I want to get value out of him. I move behind the building and I shoot. There's a 20-man squad here behind that red terrain, so they have cover. But I shoot them. I kill a few of them, but so I kill a few of them. At this point, this squad, it moves up and it shoots and it kills. Yeah, it takes my scorpions down to, kills all my scorpions and my leader with 1. So already I'm seeing this is a brutal battle. Already both of my scorpion squads have basically been obliterated. He does split fire. So so that's the great thing about these big 20-man squads. He dedicates the flamers and the drum rifles and the rifles into the scorpions, but he still has 2 autocannons that he shoots into my jet bike. He doesn't roll great, but he does do a wound. But those 20-mans are so good. I love them. At this point, I move up my other red Avenger squad and I shoot into that 20-man. Yeah, I kill some more of them. You can see here, it takes out, these guys are tough. I think some of these squads have regen. So these guys, and that's what I like about this version of High Elf fleets that I'm running. Not having rend on just mass rend actually makes the game feel like we really felt this game like that. We felt this game was a lot more balanced because he's getting his regen rolls. And even throughout this battle, I start shooting at his tanks and I just can't sort of get the mass wounds that I used to. So I really like them without this mass run. I feel it's a lot more of a balanced army. That's just me personally. Like I said, The reason I really did this is that we had been playing several times, and both of us sort of noticed that just mass Ren just didn't feel great. At this point, yeah, he moves up his battle tank. This is the black battle tank, and he actually at the doubles this tank here. He shoots, yeah, he shoots at these Dire Avengers, but with cover. So they actually do pretty well. Remember, these Dire Avengers have cover. They also have a +1 defense from the Farseer, and they have regen. So these Avengers are actually decently tough. I only lose a couple. He also, by the way, he splits his fire. He shoots into my jet bike. He actually rolls again, sort of bad. I only take one more wound, but I do waver. So this heavy jet bike is wavered. Yeah. At this point, I only have one Scorpion left, so I'm trying to get value out of him. This is one of the guys with dual energy swords. So I do charge into the squad. I do a couple of wounds. He actually does survive, but this squad passes morale. I was hoping to just kill this squad, but he does pass morale. So yeah, the black tank then moves up and shoots at my Avengers right here. But with covered +1 defense again, they're doing pretty good. So he kills a few of them. I think he kills 3 of them, but that is a lot of shots. But like I said, plus cover, +1 defense from the Farseer and the regen, they do pretty good. The tank also this tank also double times this infantry squad off the bunker. They're going to sort of surge forward toward that center objective. So this squad, he double times them off the bunker. At this point, I move up my Avengers and I shoot into that 20-man. I actually roll great, and I kill a lot of these guys, and that's something that I like. Again, Flurry. These guys are really good at killing infantry, just not so great at killing tanks. So I like that you sort of. It's a lot more of sort of a dedicated tool now, but I do kill a lot of that infantry squad here. At this point, he moves up that infantry squad and he shoots. So he splits his fire. He kills. Yeah, he rolls pretty good. Kills 5 of these Avengers, and that's just because these squads have a lot of shots. He has flamers, so those flamers are great for him. And then he has his autocannons that shoot and finish off my heavy jet bike. So these 20-man squads are just really great, where they've got those autocannons to take out long range fire, and he's got the drum rifles, and he's got those flamers, and he said he takes out 4 or 5 of those Dire Avengers. It's good. Yeah, 5 of them. Yeah, that's just a picture of them. So at this point, yeah, this wounded squad, I just rushed them up. Yeah, just to try to give some support to this Scorpion. Yeah, his infantry squad just moves up and shoots and kills my. Oh, I'm sorry, this is something else. Yeah, I think his infantry squad moved up and shot. It did something. We had a lot going on, just so you know. My Dark Reapers actually shoot into his one of his tanks and does 9 wounds onto them. Yeah, so roll good on the Reapers. I think I gave them +1 to hit and do 9 wounds onto them. The last infantry squad, this 20-man moves up and just kills my leader. So I like it. The Scorpions kind of kept them back, so that's pretty good. The Banshees, seeing a lot of the squads have been shot, they rush forward. This got blurred here. And this is something it was a really good game, so some of these pictures did mess up here. All right, at this point, yeah, he moves back his walker. I think he's just trying to keep me outside of charge range. So his walker moves back. He's more just playing very defensive, and I agree. He's got the long range. He just doesn't want to get me in charge range, and he knows my weapons are sort of shorter range than his. So he's sort of using this walker to protect this objective. Here, this is my avatar. My avatar gives the Banshees and the jet bikes +1 defense. It then rushes forward. I actually do my Firestorm. I like adding some extra abilities to the avatar and these big monsters where they can sort of do multiple things and sort of get a better presence on the battlefield. So yeah, I give these 2 guys +1 defense, and then he rushes forward. I also use my Firestorm on. I think I kill. Oh yeah, I do my Firestorm on both of these infantry squads, and I waver the one on the top right, and then the center one just takes a few more damage. So yeah, I get a waver right there. That's great. The transport here, so this is his objective here. The transport actually just waits in the back and actually shoots the last. So it moves up a little and it shoots the last scorpion behind the corner, takes out the last scorpion. The jet bikes. So again, I've got the at the double. So the jet bikes here before they move, they actually at the double the banshees, and then they themselves move up in this crater here, basically in charge range if that's super heavy. So these guys, they have some cover, but they're mainly just getting ready to charge that super heavy. At this point, I think he's getting out of activations, so I actually just charge him with my banshees, and they do murder them, but actually I don't kill them to a man, and he does take out two of the banshees as well. So yeah. At this point, the fire dragons rush up behind the avatar, having the avatar sort of screen them. And yeah, it was a brutal first turn. As you can see here, I mean, like, that first turn, especially for me, I took a lot of casualties. That first turn, both of my scorpions, several of my squads have been really cut down, and he actually gets to go first. So, if anything here, I've got these jet. I am forcing an issue though because he can only do several things. If he shoots at my jet bikes, they're pretty defended right now. But yeah, and I've got some. Also, he's wavered some of my units as well. Yeah, it was a rough first turn, but I've got position, right? If anything, you can see I've sort of really gotten a lot of positioning here just to hold this center here. Yeah. All right. That's just another picture as well. You can kind of see I'm pushing forward, but you can see he's got a lot of bodies left. All right, turn 2. He does get to go first. I do ambush in my my spiders here. I can, that way if I need to, I can kind of commit them over in this area. There's a lot of anti-armor that I can use for them. And he gets to go first, so his heavy tank moves up and he shoots into my banshees, kills 6 of them, and he actually wavers those banshees. But I use my 3 command points to stop their waver. So I do, like I said, I like having those command points there to sort of have that waiver mitigation. But it's a good roll for him. At this point, the jet bikes, they're going to charge, but they do at the double up these Avengers, and then they themselves, they charge into here. I do give, I think I don't roll good, but this is when I use a command reroll, because it's like, and I like these command points where if you really need to, you can roll. Like if you roll bad here, this is a key roll for me. So I rolled kind of bad. I used 2 command points and I re-rolled it. Rolled great. And I actually end up doing 17 wounds on this tank here. So really good. But he also, he has his command points and he gives it like +1 and he's able to pass his waiver check as well. So these command points are great about sort of mitigating these really powerful 1 rolls. So he uses his command points to basically stop the tank from getting wavered. Yeah, at this point he moves back slightly, and one of the things these jet bikes are doing, they're keeping this heavy tank back. And so he actually kills 2 of my jet bikes. Remember, those jet bikes did have that +1 defense already. So, and they're also protected, so they're pretty tanky. And so his tank only kills 2 of these jet bikes. At this point, the Avengers move up and they shoot. Again, they kill some more of them, but yeah, these guys, like I said, with the regen on some of these squads, they're pretty tanky. But I do move up and I shoot those guys. His black tank shoots at my banshees. That's on the bottom right. And I think he moves up this squad here. Yeah, he kills like 7 of them, even with the +1 defense. So these tanks are still, with this volume of fire, it's just very good. So he, even with the +1 defense on the banshees, takes out 7 of them. At this point, again, these guys were wavered, but I used my command, the 3 points to remove it. So these guys, they charge over the terrain. They hit this squad. They take them down to a single wound left. But he passes his morale. He's rolling pretty good morales this game. But like I said, I am starting to get into these 20-mans and thin them out. At this point, his command squad moves up. I think he gives the take aim to the heavy tank again. And I think they shoot. Yeah, I think they shoot the Avengers, I believe, or they shoot at something, but I don't think they roll good. So yeah, but he does give that heavy tank in the middle. +1 to hit again. So yeah, that's just showing the +1 to hit on that tank. Oh yeah, one of his infantry squads moves up and shoots at my jet bikes, but does no wounds. That's his single autocannon guy left. At this point, these 3-man banshees, I'm trying to get some value out of them, so I actually charge up and I hit his. I knew this artillery has +1 to hit, so I charge up. I do like 1 wound on him, 2 wounds, and then but he passes his morale. I was hoping to get that waiver, but he does. He does pass his morale. Something shot. So again, we had so many things going on, but I do know in around this area, something shot and killed one of the banshees. I think something happened here, and like I said, we had so much going on. But like I said, some of the banshees died, and I think they shot somewhere else. But yeah, so someone killed one of my banshees and something else. Yeah, so that's just showing that one. At this point, the Avatar charges up and he kills this tank. He also firestorms. He firestorms the 2 infantry squads, and he finishes off the tank. He also gives +1 defense to both of those Avenger squads. So yeah, and then yeah, that's just showing them taking that 20-man squad. I like firestorm on this Avatar. I like having these really super big monsters sort of being able to contribute multiple things on a turn. It makes them worth their points. So yeah, that's just showing that. The Walker moves up and shoots at the Avatar, but no wounds that Avatar. Like I said, it's nice to have something very tanky in the army. So that Avatar with just that armor 2-up and regen is pretty tanky. At this point, I move up my warp spiders and I shoot at his Walker. I don't roll great, and he rolls good saves because he's got cover and protected. So those Walkers are pretty tough, and I do 4 wounds on the Walker. He passes his morale. The transport here moves up and gives +1 to hit to the indirect tank, and it shoots at the Avatar but fails to wound him. Or I think it does 1 or 2 wounds. We had it marked separately. So yeah, I think he did do some wounds to the Avatar, but at this point, it's off the table and it's minor. Yeah, at this point, I think it's the Storm Guardians did something. I forgot what happened there, but yeah. So I move. I think the Guardians. I think they even charged the heavy tank, I believe. At this point, the black tank moves up and it shoots and wipes out the warp spiders, and it does a few more wounds to the Avatar. I think it's up to like 3. The Avatar's up to like 3 or 4 wounds. I forgot the marking got moved off, but yeah, the Avatar's at like 3 or 4 wounds. So yeah, but my warp spiders are gone. At this point, the fire dragons, they move up around the corner and they shoot and do. I give them like +1 to hit, and they do 9 wounds into the tank. But the tank passes his morale. But I am starting with my anti-armor now. I am starting to sort of really get into these vehicles and do damage to them. I think I forgot something shot at my dragons and killed them. I forgot what exactly shot. I think it was this like an infantry squad, but something shot at my fire dragons and killed the fire dragons. The Avengers move up and they actually shoot the. Oh yeah, they shoot the heavy tank. The heavy tank's taken. There, I had some shots go around. Basically, this heavy tank has taken about 6 wounds now, but they do shoot, and I think they do like a wound. Again, not having rending on my weapons now, these tanks are a lot tougher. But I do like 1 or 2 wounds. Yeah. The squad in the back, it shoots and kills both of the Banshee squads. So remember. It kills the 2-man. There's a 4-man over there. So now both of my Banshee squads are dead. That's just this 20-man here. The Avengers jump up on this building. Again, I see this 20-man here. So I'm trying to thing this out as well. So I shoot and I hit the guys behind the bunker. And I kill a decent amount more of them. But they're still pretty tanky with 20. The remaining autocannons move up and they shoot at the Storm Guardians, kill 2 of them, but the Storm Guardians pass their morale. The Farseer, he rushes up and he casts -1 to hit on the indirect tank. So I'm trying to cancel out some of these +1 to hits. So this Farseer gets the -1 to hit on that indirect tank over there. And these are the 2 Avenger squads here with the +1 defense from the Avatar. I think he moves up. I think he's running out of actions, so I do send in my Storm Guardians and I try to charge here. I do. I don't even wound him. Yeah, I don't roll great here, and I don't get any Rens, so he does save again. These armored vehicles, they feel a lot tougher now. So yeah, I don't wound. Um, he does unwaver one of his infantry. Oh, by the way, this happened after the fact. So he basically we took a picture, but this happened before. We just took a picture afterwards, and then I also unwaver my my guardian squad in the building here, and that's the end of round two. Like I again, we've both been taking heavy casualties. He's losing a lot of his infantry, but his tanks are like I said, it's a pretty brutal battle so far because both of us are losing. I've lost my banshees and my scorpions. These Avengers are now pushing up, so I'm both of us are just taking heavy casualties. Yeah, that's just a picture here. My jet bikes as well. I think they're not doing great, and yeah, that's just a picture as well. But he is starting to kind of. I am getting my anti armor in range, and I've got my avatar there, so yeah. But it's like I said, it's been a brutal battle. So turn three. He gets to go first again. He backs off this tank and he shoots. Remember, these guys don't have +1 defense anymore. So he actually shoots and kills them to a man. It's only the leader left. So he passes them around. At this point, the Avatar moves up and gives the Storm Guardians and the Farseer +1 defense. And then I throw the Wailing Doom into the heavy tank. So I take it up to like 12 wounds. And I do Firestorm the other units. At this point, this black tank moves up and shoots at my leader. If anything else, the leader does die, but the leader does absorb a lot of wounds. So the leader still... It's sort of like... These jet bikes serve their purpose. They kept this super heavy tank back. And that's important because this super heavy tank can't sort of... I'm thinking about the objective now. There's this objective in the center, and this super heavy sort of can't get to the objective. So these jet bikes sort of serve their sacrificial purpose here. The Reapers then move up and they shoot at the black tank, and they do like I think they do 6 or 9 wounds. Remember, with our command points, I am using my +1 to hits or my rerolls on these Reapers, and I like that with the command points where if you really need something to go well, you can devote resources to it. So yeah, I think I do shoot the black tank. And I think I kill it. So I am killing some of these tanks now. At this point, his heavy tank has 12 wounds on him. He did pass a morale, but he shoots at my avatar. The avatar is up to like 6 or 7 wounds now. But yeah, he's still holding strong. At this point, I move up my Avengers and I shoot at the remaining squad, take them down to just the leader, but the leader does waver. So that's good enough. I think at this point, yeah, so it's just that one. At this point, yeah, he moves up his walker and he flamers my Avengers. And he actually takes out the squad. So I think he rolls good and I don't roll great. And he takes out the Avengers. Again, these Guardians, I want them to do something. I charge into this heavy tank. I'm trying to just get a single wound, but I do 1 wound. And I actually give -1 to hit to this big squad in the back. But the tank passes his morale. And again, he's using some +1s for these morale checks as well. So he's passing some morales when he needs to. His command squad moves up and gives the super heavy tank +1 to hit. He rolls bad and does little to no damage. I think he shoots into my Avengers and my jet bike, but this is when he flubs a roll. The jet bike moves up and shoots. And you can see that's that shield icon. That's -1 to hit. It moves up and it shoots into the infantry squad. And this is the last big infantry squad, so I'm starting to take it low. So I kill a few more of those figures. This is the transport. The transport moves up and shoots at the Avengers, killing them. So kind of creating a whole. What he's going to try and do now? He's going to try and get his He's got his walker and he's going to try and get his walker and his tanks into the center. So he kills those Avengers. Yeah, that's just the Avengers dead from his Grey Chimera up there, who's got some decent shooting on his own. So I move up my Farseer. The big thing I'm trying to do is just stop him from getting to this objective. So I move up and I cast the damage spell on the walker. I do 1 wound. So that walker's at 1 wound left, but he passes his morale. So yeah, the auto cannons, the remaining 2 auto cannons, they move up and they shoot and they finish off the Storm Guardians. So they're dead. The Avengers sort of move up. I know he's trying to push and get to the center, so they move up here to block that, and they shoot into the squad behind the tank. Yeah, they kill them, and they actually waver this squad, which is great. So finally, I've dedicated a lot of shooting to this squad. I finally wavered them. So yeah, the infantry squad. So that, remember, this is the veteran squad. They're out of the tank now. They move up and they shoot and they kill the Farseer. So yeah, that's this squad in the top right of the building. Kill the Farseer. So it's not shown, but the remaining storms. So what happened here? I have these 2 guys under this gray building. They actually charge this walker. I failed a wound. He kills them, and the walker actually consolidates closer. So now this walker is in striking distance on turn 4 to grab this objective. This would win him the game. Remember, it's all about this one objective. So yeah, at this point, the 20-man squad that waver, he unwavers them. And yeah, that's just, I mean, like I said, it's a brutal battle. He's killed a lot of his units in the center. So I now have to sort of do my best to protect this center. It's sort of a rush to the center objective here. And that's just another picture here. You can see here, I've taken heavy casualties. Turn 4, luckily I do get to go first because I'm heavily down on men. And at this point, again, I needed to kill this transport. He could have just rushed, so I do charge this guy with 1 wound left. I do blast, so I use my Firestorm to blast some stuff here and there. I kill some more guys, but I mainly kill the walker, and then he consolidates to sort of block this side. At this point, he rushes forward this tank here. The tank's got 3 wounds left, or I think 2 or 3 wounds left. Yeah, and he now he basically is, you know, he can grab this objective. If I don't take out this tank, he's going to control this objective. So I just have my Reapers left, and my Reapers shoot. They flub the roll. I only get 1 hit. So this game basically comes down to a single 5-up roll, because if he makes this roll and I don't kill this tank, he's going to win the game. But he fails the 5-up roll and the tank dies. So if he would have made that 5-up, he would have won the game. It was that close. But I do kill the tank. So at this point, that was his big chance to win the game. So at this point, he's just desperation. He charges his single guy into my avatar. He dies. This is just desperation now. At this point, he actually can go around and grab my objective. So again, I'm just trying to hold him off. They move up and they shoot at the 2 auto cannons. They kill one and they waver the other. So again, this one takes 1 and this one wavers. Yeah, that's the wavered one there. The command squad moves up here and shoots at the Avengers, taking out 2 more of them, but they do pass their morale. No, actually, they don't. They waver. That's right. Yeah, so these guys actually do waver. At this point, the heavy jet bike moves up and shoot. You not see, but this guy could actually theoretically reach this objective. So he moves over, shoots this single auto cannon off, and that's basically the game. We didn't play it out further. Like you can sort of see here, he was very close to grabbing this objective. So at the end of the game, I barely win. Just barely win. I hold off this one. And I had this objective, and I just had enough to keep him off. It was a super close game. As you can kind of see here, this was. I did miss some things here and there because it was such an intense game. So at the end of the game, it is a slim victory to my high elf fleets. My army was, I'm going to show you the pictures. My army was almost wiped out. He would have won on attrition, but I had just enough to hold him back. We had a blast. He also, as a high elf defense player, a human defense will play, he really likes this version of high elf fleets where I basically can't just Ren spam things. This is just a picture. We did this a picture afterwards. You can see this is the only. I have 6,000 points in 4 turns. This is the only thing remaining in the army. So just a bloodbath. And for him, he actually won on attrition. He had a lot more than me. So, I won on the objective. I didn't win on attrition. I had just enough here. So some learning points. So I would say this: human defense force is a lot better when you have some sort of waiver mitigation, especially for those super heavy tanks. We really do like the command rerolls. I think that in competitive sense, I think that so we're working on some a competitive compendium to the game, and it's definitely going to include some command rerolls to sort of balance out the game. I like my I'm obviously what's the word I'm biased, but I like my craft ship High Elves. I'm gonna post the link in the description of them. Again, it's still a work in progress, needs tweaking, but I do like I do like this version that just doesn't sort of have that crutch of mass rending. Another thing that's very important is, one of the things that I really like about one page rules is that it's very objective focused. So it's not about killing your opponent. And I would say when you play games, keep the objective in the forefront of your mind. So that because that's how I won. It was just the objective. Hey, thanks for watching. You can always play against me on Universal Battles 2. I am trying to get on Tabletop Simulator as well, so I wouldn't mind playing there. Provide feedback to me, especially for my armies. I'm going to be posting more. I'd love to get people's feedback. Like I said, their work in progress. This game was definitely a test game for them. Like, subscribe, and comment. We're always trying to help us grow the channel, and it really helps us when you especially subscribe. That really helps us. Join the Austin Alternative Gaming Freaks if you're in Austin, and thanks so much.